Hey boys and girls, this is Mrs. Young coming at you with another video. I know that we just did one on perimeter and we're following up really quickly with one on area. I hope you found perimeter to be pretty easy, and I think you're going to like area today. So our I can statement for this video is I can find the area of a shape. So we're going to talk a lot about the difference between perimeter and area. Get your paper and pencil ready and let's go. Okay, let's review just a little bit. We learned about perimeter before, and perimeter, we remember that we added the length plus length plus width, and this was the perimeter. And the perimeter went all the way around the edge of the shape, and we wanted to know the length all the way around. Well, today we're going to learn the area, and the area is what's inside. So it is going to be all of this space in here. And we're going to want to know how much space is taken up in there. So for example, I gave in our last video, if I was building a garden and I wanted to know how much fence I would need to go all the way around my garden, then that would be perimeter. Okay, but if I need to know how many seeds to plant inside the garden, then that would be area. Another example would be if you were building a flower bed and you were going to put bricks along the edge of the flower bed, then I would need perimeter. But if I needed to know how much soil to put inside of the flower bed, then that would be area. So I'm going to give you a couple more examples, and I want you to think in your head, is that perimeter or is that area? Okay, so I'm at school and I'm doing a bulletin board and I need to know how much paper it's going to take to cover the entire inside the space of the bulletin board. So think in your head, is that perimeter or area? That would be area because I'm covering the inside. What if I asked you, I need to know how much border to put around the edge of the bulletin board? Well, that would be perimeter. Okay, so we'll talk some more here about the difference. So let's move on. Okay, so we're going to find the area of a shape, and mathematicians have given us a formula for that. And this time it's going to deal with multiplication. So this time we're going to do length times width. So you're only going to need 2 measurements this time, where with perimeter we needed all of the sides. Sometimes it was 4, sometimes it was a lot more. With area, we're only going to need 2. So remember, length is the long side. So go ahead and draw this rectangle and point to the length. Okay, so I'm going to show you that the length up here is 3. So if that is 3, then this down here at the bottom is also 3. And then what we have left is the width. So this time I'm going to say that the width is 2. So if that is 2, this other side is also 2. Okay, so when you look at this picture, area is a lot like an array. So this is saying that I have 2 groups of 3. So I'm going to divide my shape. I'm going to pick a different color so you can see it. I'm going to divide my shape to show an array, to show 2 groups of 3. So I'm going to divide it in half so I have 2 rows. And then I'm going to show 3 groups. Okay, so I want you to imagine those square tiles we used for finding perpendicular lines. Imagine laying those down in an array. So this shows that I have 2 rows of 3. Now when you do area, you're only going to use 2 of the sides, 1 length and 1 width. Okay, so I've circled the 2 that I'm going to use, and I'm going to multiply those together. 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, and you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares also. All right, let's do another example. Okay, I have drawn a square on here, so I want you to think about what you know about squares. I hope you said that squares have 4 equal sides. So I've given you one measurement. I've told you that one side is 5. So if you know one measurement on a square, you know all of them. So go ahead and fill them in. 5, 5, and 5. Now area says that we are going to look at length times width. So I want you to circle 2 of the measurements that you're going to use, length and width. So we're going to do 5 times 5. So 5 groups of 5, and that would be 25. And you can imagine that I would have an array on here. 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, by 5. And if I counted those, it would be 25. So I could count them all. I could draw my grid lines all the time, but that's pretty slow. You're not going to want to do that all the time. So it's much faster to multiply. So 5 groups of 5 is equal to 25. All right, draw this example and let's find the area. So remember, the area is the inside that we're finding. So we need 2 measurements. A lot of times though that they're going to tell you, they're going to give you all 4 measurements, and you're going to have to remember that you only need a length and a width. So you're going to have to make sure that you don't get 2 widths or 2 lengths because your area is going to be off. So here we're going to do 3 times 6. So go ahead and figure out what that is. So our our area this time equals 18, and I have no measurement here, and I have left that off the other slides. But if I have no measurement, what do I write after my number? It's actually units, and I left off something important in the earlier slides. Because it's like an array, we're talking about that it is square units. So this is 18 square units because that's how many squares it would take if I were to count them all. So that's where you get square units. So in area, it's square units, and in perimeter, it's just plain units. Okay, go ahead and find the area of these 2 rectangles and then come back to check. All right, so I've written the answer up there. Make sure that you got a length and a width and that you multiplied those together. We're going to do a couple more examples, and I'm going to challenge you this time to find not only the area, but also the perimeter. Okay, here are our last set of examples. Okay, so go ahead and draw these shapes out, and I want you to find the area and the perimeter. Okay, and then pause the video, solve it, come back to check. Okay, so here are our answers. Remember, if you are doing area, you multiply because I need to know the inside, so I'm doing that array model. If I want to know the perimeter, I add all of the outsides. So area, I only need a length and a width, and perimeter, I need all of the edges. So in this case, they were rectangles, so I'm going to need 2 lengths and 2 widths. So I had 18 times 3. And remember, that is square units, so I got 24. And then here I added all the sides, I got 22. At the bottom, I did 7 times 4, so I got 28 square units. And the perimeter I got as 22 units. Okay? All right, good job. We will have another video on area. I don't know if you noticed, but all of our shapes were perfect rectangles or squares. So I wonder if any of you are asking the question, what do I do if it's not a perfect rectangle? What if I do if it's one of those strange shapes like we had when we were doing perimeter? Well, our next video is going to answer that question. So you guys did a great job today working with area. And now we'll be able to compare and contrast shapes based on whether their area and perimeters are the same or different. All right, we've come to the end of the video, so it's time for our joke. It's been pretty cold lately. We had a little bit of snow. It says, what do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire? Well, frostbite, of course. Okay, I can't wait to see you tomorrow, and we'll work some more with area and perimeter. Good job today, guys. Thanks.